Let's begin here. A ministerial delegation from South Africa and Mozambique met in Malelane in Mpumalanga today over the ongoing protests in that country following the October elections. The protests have disrupted trade flow between the countries, negatively impacting both economies. SABC News reporter Khayelihle Khumalo is in Malelane for us and joins us live now. Khayelihle, good afternoon to you and thank you so much for your time. This is a key meeting between South Africa and Mozambique. What really transpired ahead of the Constitutional Council's pronouncement regarding the controversial election?
Well, certainly, Bongo, a very important meeting between these two countries, especially in the context of SADC region, where there has been a very clear commitment to ensure that there is long-lasting peace in Mozambique, especially as we know that 23 December is going to be a very important time for Mozambique, as we know that that's when the Constitutional Council will make the pronouncement. So Minister Lamola says this is quite important for South Africa to have a neighbor where there is stability, especially given the proximity of the two countries, but also talking about some disruptions that we have seen every so often right here at Lebomba port of entry, a very important area, Bongiwa, when it comes to trade between South Africa and Mozambique and some landlocked countries in SADC region. For example, Minister Lamola talking about the issue of petroleum, really just the Maputo port supplying the greater part of South Africa's economic hub, Gauteng, and many other neighboring provinces like here in Mpumalanga, but also many others as well. But really highlighting the issue of making sure that we see calm prevailing in Maputo. So once again, Bongiwe, let's take a listen to what Minister Lamola had to say.
The situation remains tense and there is commitment in terms of transporting the essential goods, which we think will the commitment will be carried through by our counterparts in terms of all the modes of transport, rail, land transport, and also the port, which is an important corridor, the people to people. It will not be easy for people to just go in terms of tourism because the situation does remain tense. We will continuously assess the situation, and at the right time we will be able to issue the alert for our citizens in terms of tourism in Mozambique. But for now, the transport is moving in both countries, including the individuals or private vehicles of citizens and so forth. But we have to continue to assess the situation and monitor it and allow the process that has been agreed here to take its course.
And Khayelihle, they're talking about assessing the situation, but behind closed doors, we did see these delegates meeting. Let's talk about them, from both sides, and what now becomes the way forward.
Absolutely critical portfolios, Bongiwe. You had the Minister, of course, of International Relations and Cooperation, Ronald Lamola, leading the South African delegation, but alongside the Minister of Trade, Industry and Investment, Pakistan, really talking about the issues of making sure that the value chains are not disrupted. Of course, the Transport Minister as well, Baba Chrissy, as you know, that transport really is the heartbeat of every economy. For South Africa and Mozambique, this is a very critical point, but also I think there's a very clear understanding of the issue of the spillover effects. If one's neighbor is facing a crisis, inevitably a neighbor can also be affected. I think South Africa really underscores that particular point very well. But also, most importantly, hearing as well from the Mozambican delegation. In fact, their Minister of Interior was leading the delegation. As you know, that Mozambique's Foreign Affairs Minister, Veronica Dlovo, is away from Mozambique. She's currently in New York since Mozambique is a non-permanent member of the UN Security Council. But Bongiwe, once again, let's take a listen to what Minister Lamola had to really say about the array of issues that they are pursuing in this regard.
We continue to assess the situation, and we are in constant engagement with our counterparts in Mozambique. And as I've said, the President is also in constant engagement with President Nussi, and even with the leaders in the region, the SADC region. to continuously engage on the political situation, which obviously a resolution of this situation needs a political engagement, solution. So we continue to do so. But we also express the need and the processes that needs to be respected of in terms of the Mozambican laws, the Constitutional Council, which is the final arbiter in terms of the outcomes of the elections, which we will obviously have to wait for, and we will be guided by it, but we continue to assess and plan for all scenarios that may arise.
All right, that is the Minister there, Ronald Lamola, in conversation with Khayelihle Khumalo as they're looking at the situation in Mozambique. Remember, there have been quite a number of protests there, especially since the October 9th election. A number of, some of the citizens there talking about how unhappy they are about this result. And Khayelihle attending that particular meeting there, which was led by International Relations and Cooperation Minister Ronald Lamola with some of his counterparts there, and also the delegation from Mozambique. So Khayelihle, let's see then what happens in the coming days, as we know holiday makers are looking to that destination for, as their festive season destination, and whether or not they're going to be making use of this opportunity or what happens next. But thank you so much for that update. Appreciate it. That is Khayelihle Khumalo live for us there in Malelane.